Hey everyone, so today we are pulling back the curtain on this incredible, almost invisible system that's keeping you alive every single second. It's a process that's so fundamental to your existence, you probably never even notice it's happening.
I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about it? How is it possible that we can function in these wildly different environments? From a blazing hot desert to the freezing cold Arctic? The world outside is always changing. But inside of us, everything has to stay, well, just right. So how on earth does our body manage that? Well, the whole secret lies in our body's amazing ability to maintain a perfectly stable internal world, no matter what's going on outside. It's kind of like having a perfectly climate-controlled fortress inside of you. And here's why that is so important. Every single one of your trillions of cells is like a delicate little machine. And for them to work, the conditions have to be perfect. The temperature, the pH balance, the sugar levels, water. If any of these are even slightly off, things start to break down pretty quickly. So what do we call this master regulator? This unsung hero that keeps our entire cellular city running like clockwork? Well, it's a process, and it's called homeostasis. This is the solution, the whole shebang that keeps that internal world of ours perfectly stable. So here's the textbook definition, but the really crucial part, the bit to remember, is that last phrase, in response to changes. See, homeostasis isn't about being static or staying still. It's an active, constant process of adjusting and readjusting to keep everything in balance, whether you just chugged a sugary drink or stepped outside into the snow. But homeostasis isn't just one thing. It's way easier to think of it as an automatic control system, almost like a highly efficient crew that's working together 24/7 to keep you in that perfect, optimal zone. So let's meet the crew. First up, you've got your receptors. Think of these as the scouts. They're always out there monitoring the conditions, seeing what's up. Then you have the coordination centers. This is mission control, like your brain or spinal cord. They get the info from the scouts and decide what to do about it. And finally, you have the effectors. These are the action takers, the muscles and glands that actually carry out the orders. Okay, so for this whole crew to work, they need to communicate, right? Often across pretty vast distances inside the body. And lucky for us, our body has two amazing communication networks to make it all happen. So the body sends these messages in two main ways. On one hand, you've got the nervous system. This thing is sending lightning-fast electrical signals for quick, really precise responses, like when you pull your hand away from a hot stove. On the other hand, you have the endocrine system. This uses chemical hormones that travel through your bloodstream. It's a bit slower, more general, but its effects can last a whole lot longer. So we've got the crew, we've got the communication lines, but what's the actual strategy they're using? Well, the secret weapon of homeostasis is this really elegant, simple mechanism called a negative feedback loop. Okay, let's make this super simple. Imagine a level in your body, let's say your blood sugar right after a big meal, and it shoots up above the optimal range. What does the system do? The system immediately kicks in to counteract that change. A signal is sent to an effector. In this case, your pancreas releases insulin, and that brings your blood sugar level right back down to normal. And when this feedback loop doesn't work right, that's how you can develop conditions like diabetes. It really shows you just how vital this balancing act is. But what about the opposite problem? Let's say you skip a meal and now your blood sugar dips way too low. What happens then? And this is where the magic is. The system does it again, but just in the opposite direction. It triggers a response to raise your blood sugar back into that normal range. So here's the golden rule, the most important takeaway. Negative feedback always works to reverse the change, to bring things back to that stable, healthy middle. All right, enough with the theory. It's great, but let's see how this all comes together in a real-world example we can all totally relate to. Regulating your body temperature. Okay, so picture this. You walk outside on a chilly day. Instantly, those scouts, the receptors in your skin, scream, "It's cold," to your brain, using the nervous system. Your brain, mission control, processes this and sends out a command to your muscles, the effectors, and their response? To shiver. They start contracting really fast to generate heat and warm you up. Now, let's flip it. Say you get too hot. A different set of receptors detects this change. The signal zips to the brain again, but this time, the brain sends its command to a totally different set of effectors, your sweat glands. They kick into action and you start sweating. And as that sweat evaporates, it cools your skin right down. And that right there is the whole point. This isn't a one-time fix. It's a continuous loop. If you get too hot, the system cools you. If that goes a bit too far and you get a little too cold, the other system kicks in to warm you up. It's this never-ending, dynamic balancing act, a constant dance.
So as you're sitting here right now, your body is juggling your water levels, your blood pressure, your oxygen content, and so much more, all without you ever having to think about it for a second. It kind of makes you wonder, right? What other incredible, invisible processes are keeping you going right this very minute?